Oh no. Oh no. Hey guys, welcome back. Please pardon me if I look a little green. I'm not feeling that well this morning. I hope it's not a bug because tomorrow's Thanksgiving, but enough on that. Here's my final review of the Andor series. I know I said I didn't know if I was going to go back to it after the 4th episode, but the questions posed were too much and I went back to see if any of them were resolved. Spoiler alert, almost none of the questions I had by the 3rd episode were answered. It left me feeling very, I don't know, it was disappointing, but there are other things about the series that I definitely liked and wanted to touch on. My full reaction is not going up on YouTube. I'm going to be chopping it up in pieces, giving you highlights, and only those on my Patreon are getting a full, uncut reaction to Andor. Now, before you're like, hey, that's not fair. Well, it's like, I don't think anybody's going to be watching it anyway because I don't have that technology to capture the footage and put it down in the corner and cut it right and all that. So highlights are going to be the best you're going to get because my laptop is insanely slow and it's probably not going to be up until Friday at the earliest, possibly even Saturday. I have no idea when I'm going to have time to edit this and upload it, but hopefully it will be soon. Anyway, first of all, I'm going to go over my favorites, my least favorites. My favorite episode has got to be One Way Out. When they staged that big escape from the prison, the way everybody just sort of came together, it choked me up. It really, really did. I was crying at the end of it. I was really, really, really crying at the end of it. And I absolutely love the fact that Melshi, seemingly like a throwaway character in Rogue One, he knew Cassian that long. I think this is like 5 years before New Hope, so they had that friendship going and they sort of like bonded in that experience, and that was really nice to see. And now the next time I watch Rogue One, it's probably gonna hit even harder. My least favorite episode, oh, I forgot to write that down. Probably episode 4 of the series, because it seemed really slow. There was lots of setup, lots of introductions, and it's my biggest gripe about this whole series is the fact that everything is left so open-ended. There's not even any resolution by the end of it, except what happens on Ferrix. Even then, you don't know, like, is the Empire going to send more of them? Is it going to be further oppressed? Did their resistance and rising up make any difference? I have no idea. We may never find out. Who knows? So my favorite characters in this series were definitely, the droid. He takes the prize, B2EMO. I loved him from the first episode. I don't know what it is about Star Wars. They make droids so lovable right from the get-go. So many great droids. He's one of those characters. He's sympathetic. He really cares about his people. He's kind of like a nervous child or like a loyal dog, and his attitude is just like, you're leaving again. You always say that. And he's very blunt. He doesn't really have a filter, but he cares so much about his people. And I'm glad to see that he didn't get like destroyed at the end of the series. He survived at least to the end of this first season. If he had gotten blown up, that would have been a horrible gut punch. Like, no, B2. My favorite, of course, I really liked Marva. People argue, oh, did she kidnap Cassian from his homeworld, or was she saving his life? We found out later that there were apparently no survivors on Kenari, which sucks. So she ended up saving his life, and at least he had, two positive role models to look up to in his childhood. They showed him love and, at least gave him something of a moral direction in his life. And to see the love that she showed for him, and the message that she left for him at the end, it hit me right in the mom feels. Because it's just like, oh, the understanding, the unconditional love, that's just, It's, yeah, that's a mom right there. Mon Mothma, it was nice to see some revelations about her character. I had no idea she was married, apparently unhappily. Ooh, it was an arranged marriage? Oh dear. And now she sees her daughter apparently set up for the next thing. It's just, that's horrible. It's like the idea of selling your firstborn to support a cause. That's horrifying. But you can tell it's, the nice thing about Mon Mothma is she never loses her humanity. She still cares, and she's willing to care about, you know, the little people, even the least of people in the galaxy. She doesn't want anybody to die. She just wants to fix things, but by the end of the series she finds out she's in over her head. She's going to have to compromise some of her morals in order to move forward, and that sucks. I really feel for her. Genevieve O'Reilly played her perfectly. My favorite moments in the series were anytime when Cassian shows humanity, like caring about his prison bunkmates, especially the old dude. Cannot remember his name for the life of me. I could probably look it up, but I'm very tired. I've been short on sleep all week. The old guy. Yeah, the old guy, who basically died of a stroke. He stuck around with him, even though he didn't have to. The points where he shows that he cares. He tries to be this, you know, sort of turn off his emotions, but they come through anyway. And that's the great part about it. Kino Loy and his short arc in One Way Out. The character arc, he goes from this, you know, barking orders and like, I'm staying in charge and I want the best for this unit, even though I don't care about these people. But is showing his humanity at the end with that motivational speech is just like, yes. And then realizing at the end he can't swim. He's not gonna get out of it alive. It's just like, whoa. His character arc, it was short, but it was really good. Andy Serkis is an amazing, amazing character actor. We need to see him in more stuff. My least favorite thing about the show as a whole is just too many unanswered questions. By the end of the third episode, it's like, okay, does Cassian ever find his sister? Do we ever see him actually, you know, we see the K2 droids on the beach and everything, but we never see him start to reprogram them. We have no idea when he's going to find K2SO and start reprogramming him. We don't know how long he and K2 have been friends or working together or whatever. We don't see him officially join the rebellion. By the end, he is still like on the fence, and it's just, there's just too many unanswered questions. The only question by the end of the series that actually gets answered is, well, the only few questions. Marva's fate, heartbreaking, but she wanted to go down swinging. A tough old lady. She really wanted to go out fighting, and boy, one way or the other, she did. B2's fate. Did Books get to escape? Yes, but we still don't know what happens to those characters by the end of it. It's still an open-ended question. If all these questions are answered by the end of the second season, I think I'm going to lose my mind. The only other question that was answered was what the heck they were building in the prison. Parts of the weapons array for the Death Star. That was a literal crap your pants moment. Please pardon the crudity of that, but holy macaroons. That was one of those moments where you're like, oh shoot. That's just like, ugh, oh dear. It just kind of gave you this sick feeling in the pit of your stomach. Now, my least favorite characters in this, there were several that I just wanted to punch in the face. Cyril Karn, he came off as extremely childish and obsessive, and then he turns into something of a fanboy of the next character I could not stand, Dedra Meero. Way too ambitious for her own good. I was hoping her ambition was going to come around and slap her in the face like it did for, the Inquisitor gal in Kenobi. I'm terrible with names right now. I'm sorry. I should have taken notes. And yes, that's my son. I'm trying to put him down for a nap, and it's not working. But she has, like, zero humanity. The fact that Cyril turns into something of a fanboy for her and has this almost like a hero complex, like, oh, I saved you. You're like, he's sort of worshiping the ground she walks upon. It's weird, and it makes me very uncomfortable. And the last character, Luthen Rael, dude, he is as cold as the center of Hoth. He's like a block of ice. He's got no humanity left. He's just got one goal in mind, bring the Empire down, and he doesn't care who he takes with him in the process. dude is so freaking cold. I mean, it's one thing to have a goal in mind, but when you lose your humanity in the process, I mean, you know, at what cost? That's the whole thing. It's just, what's the cost of all this? So the acting, absolutely flawless. Very, very believable characters. I didn't see a waver in anybody. They just nailed it. Boom, 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 boom. All the way. 10 out of 10 for everyone. Cinematography, very, very good. Almost on par with what I see as the two best pieces of cinematography in the whole of Star Wars, which is Rogue One and The Last Jedi. Yes, the cinematography was amazing in that. But it was so close, so that gets a 9 out of 10. Characters, pretty good. Not all of them had as satisfying a story arc, but it was nice to see everyone had at least a little bit of an arc. There were a few that remained one note during the whole thing. But for the most part, it's pretty good. 8.5 out of 10. Story, 8 out of 10. Now hear me out. People say, oh, the story is flawless. Well, there's too many loose ends for it to be considered flawless in my book. When a series presents me with a question near the beginning of the series, I expect it to be answered, at least partially, and it didn't do that. We're left at the end with more questions than answers, and it felt very unfulfilling. Like, I only came back to this series to have those questions answered, and they weren't, and it's just like, oh, it's like pulling all the air out of it. So that's an 8 out of 10. Music, very good. The only parts I did not like were where the sound was kind of off. It was physically painful and made me physically sick. I cannot handle anything that's off key. It got across the point where it's off-putting and sends you off balance, but it made me literally feel sick. So that's an 8 out of 10. The rest of the music was really good. I love the main themes, but only when they're on key. If it's off, no. I'm going to plug my ears with that. So that gives Andor a full score, mostly in the technical arena, of 8.7 out of 10. The enjoyment was much lower. I have to be in a certain state of mind to watch this because overall it's extremely depressing. Being somebody that struggles heavily with anxiety and depression myself, I can't watch stuff like that too often or it will drag me down. And the main reason I watch Star Wars is to be uplifted because there's that message of hope. I mean, even at the end of Rogue One, I mean, yeah, all the characters died, but at the end you see that the perfect lead-in to episode 4 and the last spoken word of dialogue is hope. It's just like that little glimmer of light at the end of the tunnel. And no, I'm not talking about Vader's red lightsaber. Just, you know what I'm saying? It has to end on something of a good note with something like, you know, there's something better coming. This didn't have that. So am I ever going to rewatch it? No. I'm probably going to wait until I see reviews for the second season when it comes out in a couple of years to decide whether or not I'm going to watch the second season. Like, for example, if we get any answers to the questions, if we find out definitively what happens to Andor's sister, when and how he gets a hold of K2SO and starts reprogramming him, because it's nice to see. I really like, I think Cassian's at his best when he's having friendships with droids, whether it's B2 or K2. So, and Mon Mothma, when does she go into exile from Coruscant? I do want to see what happens to her daughter. It looks like she's getting engaged at a stupid young age, which breaks my heart in two. Especially as a mom. It's just like, oh, no. I want to see Andor actually join the rebellion. If at least just one of those pops up in the second season, then I'm willing to go for it again. But for the most part, it's just too darn depressing, and my psyche cannot handle that. So there you go, guys. That has been my very long-winded, sort of disjointed review of Andor as a series. Thank you for watching. If you want to see more Star Wars content, hopefully family-friendly. This was a little bit more on the edge of not family-friendly. Go ahead and click the subscription button, drop a comment, drop a like or a dislike, just engage so we can keep pushing this forward and more people see it. And I was hoping to grow this channel to about 4,000 people by the end of the year. Obviously that didn't happen, and I'm not that surprised. I'm not surprised that my patrons have dropped like a bunch of rocks because I'm not putting out that much content. Motherhood has been way harder than I thought it was going to be, and I thought I'd have way more content, way more interesting things for you guys by now. I can't guarantee I'm going to have anything else by the end of the year, which breaks my heart, but hey, next year we're getting the 3rd season of The Mandalorian, and we get to see Ahsoka. Those are the 2 things I'm most looking forward to next year. I'm so excited about those. I really hope they're more uplifting and have a better ending than Andor. I need Star Wars to be uplifting, something that drags me out of reality so I have something positive to focus on. Please. Please. I need an escape from this. The world's too depressing as it is. I need something hopeful. Okay, guys? I need hope. But anyway, rant over. I will see everybody again probably New Year's Eve. I hope before then, but I can't make any promises. I'll be putting out a highlight reel of my reaction to the finale when I can. Like I said, my laptop is stupid slow. I need a new one. Lord willing, maybe I can get a new laptop next year, but until then, it's going to be so hard to bring you guys quality content. Because between depression, motherhood, and a very slow laptop, that's what I'm up against. I'm trying so hard. I really care about you guys. I haven't forgotten you. Please stay with me, bear with me. I've got a whole bunch of other videos you can rewatch if you want to. Lots of reactions. So, with that being said, I'll see you guys next time. And until then, this is the Clumsy Jedi, signing off, and may the Force be with you.